Teaching was the other important activity of Master KPK. Teaching and healing have been the two wings upon which he mounted meditation for transformation of those who followed him. In fact, every healer is a teacher and every teacher is a healer. They are the two inseparable functions of any true teacher. The ultimate purpose of the two is to reveal the path to the seekers who follow the teacher. If one is set to order, the other also can fall into an order. Prana treat, yoga teach is the ancientmost concept of every teacher, and Master KPK followed the same.
So close your eyes, begin to observe your respiration first. That is the first one.
He taught with patience.
The only thing till now the human being could not do is to understand himself, the man.
He taught relentlessly.
The human being has the capacity to solve problems. Therefore, he has the capacity also to produce problems to himself and others. There is no problem in this creation, but the human brain wanted to solve problems. When there is no problem, when we have to solve some problems, what should we do? We have to create some problems, either for ourselves or for others. This is the sum total of the human history on this earth, and we cannot deny it.
He taught repeatedly.
Knowledge is not information, and information is not the number of books, and wisdom is not knowledge. When we enjoy, and when the enjoyment has no conditioning, then only we can call it knowledge. When our enjoyment has no obstacles in life, then only we can call it wisdom.
He taught with love.
Through meditation, through practice of virtue, benevolence, tolerance, you will come to know of your real existence. Through the principle of inclusion, you will know yourself. If you exclude others, if you find out who are fit and who are not fit, you can never begin to exist in your real existence.
And when needed, he taught with power.
Instead of living like the son-in-law of this creation, why can't we live as a reliable member of the biological kingdom? Why can't we make life fruitful? Why can't we establish a triangle of symbiosis between man, animal and plant?
There was humor and also hammer when he taught.
Seriousness of purpose is only a psychological complex. It can be called a mental disease or symptom, because what all we do with seriousness of purpose, we can do them without the seriousness.
He was magnetic. He was absorbing the listeners into the buddhic state and sometimes even into the state of bliss. The smiles he spread while teaching were sending magnetic currents around, and the looks were radiant to uplift the people who repeatedly looked into his eyes when he was teaching.
Every day in the evening, I started to speak a little with my own friends about the scriptures, and it developed into a big society. And every evening now we have about not less than 50 different societies at 50 different places, having discourses on the world scriptures, conducted by people who are trained under me. There are many people who are trained under me for discourses.
The teaching was so attractive that people even developed listening to him as a vice. He was directly appealing to the conscience of the audience, and thus was inspiring the listeners to fall into the path of light. He frequently used the etymological, astrological, metrical, and cyclical keys to interpret the world's scriptures.
Book of nature in all its detail, and the wisdom that is there concealed in it. That is the true meaning of what we say scripture.
Such usage enabled unfoldment of the hidden aspects of the scriptures, such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, the Old Testament, and the secret doctrine.
Scripture is something which is written, but not by man. It should be something which is copied by man into his own language of the century.
He was fluent in his speech, be it Telugu or English. He was also exposing the interpolations in the scriptures. His teachings were generally for 90 minutes. They were shorter only if the time demanded so. He never taught without a prior invocation, and he never concluded the speech without the peace invocation. He held the audience spellbound. Another aspect relating to the Master's teaching and healing was that he never volunteered to teach or heal. Teaching and healing were done by him only when asked. The teaching and healing was carried out for 30 years. Master not only taught the hidden side of the scriptures, but also taught to his followers the occult sciences such as spiritual astrology, sound, color, number, symbol, tantra, mantra, yantra, and even such Middle East sciences as Ramola. He was a spontaneous teacher as and when a situation arose. He taught regardless the numbers present for the teaching in the evenings. In his work of 30 years, there were hardly any days where he did not teach in the evening hours. He was frequently saying that invisibly also persons attended for their refreshment when he taught. He said that it was a matter of great encouragement to him when he perceived those beings. In such occasions, his speech was touching very sublime states. His teachings never had a prior preparation. Each time, the teaching unfolded itself according to the need of the audience, the energy of the place, and the energy of the planetary configuration of the day. Hence, his attitude to teach was one of informing the keen listeners, meaning rearranging the energy system in the listeners, thereby causing normalcy. He conducted special classes during the late nights between 9 p.m. and 12 p.m. in homeopathy, astrology, and other occult sciences to the young groups who were seeking intensive training in those sciences. He also taught Sanskrit with the etymological key and yogasanas during the early morning hours. Master KPK was a ritualist. Master KPK was admitted into the Great White Lodge and was given the task of reorganizing the rituals. This is one of the chief missions of Master CVV and hence of the hierarchy. He was also admitted into the esoteric schools of Masonry. In the period of 12 years, he accomplished most advanced rituals. The 33 volumes of the wisdom of Pythagoras were revealed to him. In fact, HBB inaugurated an esoteric section of co-Freemasonry. Master CVV joined that co-Freemasonry to give the Aquarian impulse. Master also belongs to the esoteric ritualistic order, which is most ancient order linked to the great white lodge of the planet. He accomplished substantially in this order. He introduced discreetly this ancient order. He also participated, like Master CVV, in the order of co-Freemasonry. He raised himself in co-Freemasonry to the sublime degree of Master Mason in 1960 and to the degree of Holy Royal Arch in 1962. Much cannot be said of this order, for essentially it is esoteric and hence secretive. His teachings reveal some of the dimensions of the ritualism relating to Masonry. For exotic purposes, he gave out rhythmic living as a fundamental step to be followed. Although Master KPK was working hectically at the rate of 16 to 18 hours a day, there was a hidden rhythm in all that he did, and hence his power of manifestation. His insight into the rituals can be seen in the book titled Book of Rituals. He promoted simplified versions of ancient wisdom rituals, such as Shodashopachara Puja, Abhishekam, Homam. He insisted upon his followers to take to rhythm of life. Every day, he conducted the worship of Lakshmi Narayana, the second Lagos, along with his consort. He healed many with the sacred waters that were born out of the worship. Abhishekam and fire ritual were also performed and taught in a fresh form to the followers. He taught the necessity of the sacraments and gave out simplified versions and conducted these sacraments to those who sought them and were willing to consecrate to that discipline. He initiated many into the sacraments of Annaprasana, Aksharabhyasam, Upanayanam, and also conducted several marriages. Most of these were done at the Gurupoojas. He insisted that purity and willingness to consecrate were important, and that these sacraments are not limited by caste, creed, religion, or gender. He therefore gave out the science of sacraments in a fresh form in this time cycle. As Master KPK started functioning at Visakha, With his work of healing and teaching, many families were attracted to him and started practicing the discipline and the way of life as suggested by him. He became a guide, a friend, a philosopher for every family. Through his acts of love and service, he became an intimate part of the families. He was the natural family head to each one of these families. He advised them in matters of economics, health, education, resolution of conflicts within the family. He was and continues to be a guide towards the path of light. He was so intimate with the family members that every house became his house. Thus, he had virtually many houses. If he visited a house for lunch or dinner, it was a great delight to the family. He had access to the kitchen of every house. Such was the intimate fatherly relation he had with the lady of the house. There were many occasions where he joined the lady in the kitchen and cooked a dish for the family. The members of the family used to eat the dish he prepared with great joy. In spite of his hectic routine, he could join certain families to go for an evening movie and sometimes even to a late show. When he found time and a good movie was shown in town, he used to buy 100 tickets and invite the families for the movie. In all such cases, the response was much more than the tickets he bought. He knew how to keep the people around him lively and joyful. He used to engage others in sprightly conversations, keeping himself as an observer without being involved. He was mostly alone, but was never lonely. He was active physically and mentally, but was never busy in his mind. He kept his mind free from any program, though he followed a program implicitly. He did not allow his mind to live in problems even while he is handling problems. He used to cut short imperceptibly any discussion. If people discussed in his presence, he maintained a cutoff in such discussions. He never disagreed with others but sympathized with their viewpoints. He taught how to listen to the needs of others when they spoke. He did not allow comparison of gurus, nor did he encourage evaluation of any guru. He demonstrated all that is said above in his interaction with the families. They were reading his books and were trying to follow his path, the cardinal path of the hierarchy. He defined his path not as the path established by him, but as the path followed by him, which was in turn followed by his guides, the ancientmost path of hierarchy. To conduct an organized activity relating to the work that emerged from him, the World Teacher Trust was given birth to in the month of Scorpio in 1971, in the sweet memory of the great world teacher Lord Maitreya. Slowly, as the work grew, the organization also grew. The demands of service in the field of teaching and healing grew so enormously that Master KPK decided to resign his job as a lecturer in the university. He demonstrated the courage and the self-sacrificing nature of Master E.K., who, having a large family of a wife and 6 children dependent upon him, could leave his academic planning in the hands of the higher ones and could proceed with the noble work of serving humanity. He never asked, nor did he look for money at any point of life, and it continued to be so even after he resigned from his employment. In all his endeavors to serve the plan, Master's lady, Srimati Appamma, was fully cooperative. She was ably supporting Master's work from behind. Master conceived 4 sons and 2 daughters through his lady, Srimati Appamma. She has been a traditional housewife that served the followers of the Master who were attending to the Master at home. She was known to be very friendly and motherly, while she was also holding to the tradition with much fondness. She was holding the home front in a steadfast manner, thereby fulfilling the domestic duties relating to the Master. She participated in functions and group congregations along with the Master. She was fondly addressed by the followers of the Master as Akkaya Garu, meaning elder sister. The Master's children also took to the path of yoga and are ably functioning in their own way, perpetuating the work of the Master. It was at the instance of Sri P.S.S. Verma that Master E.K. conceived the World Teacher Trust. Master E.K. was the founder chairman and Sri Verma was the founder chief executive. Master E.K. used to perform puja every day in the morning. The group that gathered around him proposed to have a group life in the solar month of Capricorn in 1962. A group life was conducted in 1962 during January 11th to 13th in the town of Guntur, where the followers of Masters from nearby places gathered. They prayed together, dined together, and worked together. It was a demonstration of group living. This celebration of group living moved to Vizag when Master E.K. moved to Visakha. The group started to grow in size. Now it is called as Master CVV Gurupooja celebrations. It transformed into an international yoga conference. The Gurupujas are conducted from January 11th to 13th every year.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave.
It recently completed Golden Jubilee celebrations as well. With Master CPP prayer as the basis, variety of activities are conducted for 3 days. The activities include rituals such as fire ritual, water ritual, Shodasha Upachara Puja, sacraments such as Namakarana, Aksharabhyasa, Upanayana and Vivaha, Recitation of Vedic hymns and stotras were also carried out. Discourses by yoga friends were rendered. Cultural programs are also conducted in these 3 days. People near and far come to attend this group life, experience the presence of the Master, and reorient themselves to the path of yoga as demonstrated by the Master. Master Ike took delight in participating in the Gurupooja ritual in its minutest detail. It was his style from the beginning. Master Ike, amidst the hectic activity of teaching, healing, and imparting yoga, also carried out writing work. He wrote more than 50 books, ranging from commentaries on scriptures to homeo-science and health. His books gave a deeper insight into Srimad Bhagavata, Bhagavad Gita, astrology, Vedic hymns, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, rituals, and other facets of wisdom. He also conceived 4 booklets for initial training of the children by the parents. The method of his writing was not ordinary. It was unlike the authors of the contemporary times. The writings were all inspirational writings. The novels that he wrote upon the life of Lord Krishna stand out as a good example of his inspirational writings. Writings came through him. He never proposed to write anything. This was a dimension of impersonality in relation to his writings. Such impersonality was also demonstrated in his work of teaching and healing. Many of his followers are witnesses to his writings. In fact, he never wrote, he dictated. Whenever writings approached him, he used to become suddenly very alert and ask the ones around him to pick up a pen and papers. He would start dictating, and that would result in a book for the benefit of the truth seekers. Until the subject exhausted itself, the dictation continued. The books Spiritual Astrology, Mandra Scripture, Music of the Soul, Man Sacrifice, commentaries on Srimad Bhagavata are all outstanding examples of this process of inspirational writings. When asked, he told the associates that in the Buddhic plane he gets a sudden call and his apparatus, namely his Antahkarana Sarira, gets alerted and oriented. Then he sees a script running in the ether, which he reads out for dictation. Or he sees a running movie and he describes it. This is how he dictated books. He never claimed them to be his. Inspirational writings are not new in India. Originally, the Vedas, the Upanishads were so conceived. Scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Bhagavata, and Ramayana were also similarly conceived. Initiates are the fit instruments to receive wisdom from the Akashic records to be given to the mortal beings. The decision for the books of wisdom to manifest happens in higher circles, and through fit instruments they are transmitted. The most recent example of such transmission of wisdom has been Madam H.P. Blavatsky and Madam Alice Bailey, to whom a Grand Master from Himalayas transmitted wisdom. Today these books of wisdom inspire more than 3,000 groups all over the planet. In the community of initiates and disciples, clairaudience, clairvoyance, etheric movements, inspirational writings are but common. While Master KPK was giving commentaries anew on Srimad Bhagavata, he was also diverting into other books and other areas of work. As a consequence, the commentaries on Bhagavata did not come through as expected by the groups around him. Many people had a question as to why he should not complete the commentaries on Bhagavata and why should he get into other works of writing. When his close associates asked him for clarification, he smiled and said, "People receive what is needed for the time. I am only a transmitter. I transmit immediately when it is given to me. I do not venture to author any commentary. If it is not decided in the higher circles, I prefer to wait. I do not have the habit of questioning the ones whom I follow. As and when I receive the commentaries, I would give for sure. When it came, I gave it out regardless the time, be it day or night, the place, at home or on travel, and the work on hand. People need to practice what is already given. Wisdom is for practice, not for information. The human mind has a mania for information and has no inclination to practice even the fundamental steps of wisdom. To those who question for further commentaries, you may emphatically tell them to practice what is already given. To you I tell you that I am not the author. If I wanted to author books, I would have given out hundreds of books arising out of my scholarly knowledge of the scriptures. But such work would not last long. Any work conducted in tune with the plan only survives the cycles of time. Master KPK always had around him day and night youngsters to work for him. That helped him when he was giving dictations during the day hours and even the night hours. Sometimes the dictations were lasting for hours together. In all such cases, the youngsters were used by the turn so that they would have adequate rest. The work went on in this manner. The books of Master KPK today are translated into other languages and are doing the work of self-transformation of those who are studious in the real sense of the word. There is enough guidance in his books to set up a life of aspirant and to follow the path of truth. In a way, the literature he gave is complete by itself, though appears incomplete for the superficial mind. It is important to mention that Master KPK also gave a grand poetic expression in the form of the book titled Goda Vaibhavam, which is today considered in Telugu literature as a classical masterpiece of poetry. In the circles of aspirants, this poetry is considered as unfolding volumes of spiritual practices that an aspirant can take up to. It is further considered as an experience of bliss when read with devotion. The entire writings were in tune with the plan, commencing with this book. It speaks of the spiritual practices of a fiery aspirant and her experiences of the splendor of the truth. In a way, they are experiences of the Master himself. in relation to the truth. Fusion of East and West to synthesize the human activity through synthesizing the two parts of the one brain of the planetary being is also an important work relating to the age. The fusion relates to all human activities, that is, economical, social, cultural, and spiritual. Respecting the true values in all these facets of life and dissolving the spurious values is also an aspect of Aquarius. Aquarius plans for a perfect human family capable of guarding the animal, plant, and mineral kingdoms, aligning with the divine kingdom. Only the one in whom the East and the West are thus connected, such one is the fit instrument to work for the fusion of East and West. There have been spiritual ambassadors ever since ancient times from East to West. The great sage Swami Vivekananda, the seer Sri Aurobindo, the Gnostic Sri Dayananda are but a few names among others in recent times worth mentioning in this context. Even such masters of wisdom as Pythagoras, Jesus the Christ, are believed to have come to the holy land of India to learn wisdom from the schools of magic and wisdom prevailing in such centers as Takshashila, Pataliputra, Ujjain, Varanasi, etc. East at all times was moving in terms of wisdom to the West, while West reciprocated with systematization, practicality, and manifestation. Master Ike, during the initial period of 12 years of training, was organizing a magazine called Mihira. In that magazine, he wrote an article about the future planetary configurations and the birth of a superman. The article attracted a Belgian by name Albert Sessi, who was a Theosophist and also a prominent member of the Archean school, at that time residing in Theosophical Society, Madras. He was a good student of the teachings coming from Madame Blavatsky and Madame Bailey. The magazine Mihira reached his hands. He felt that the author of the article was not an ordinary Theosophist. He further felt encouraged to communicate with Master Ike. He invited Master Ike to one of the hill stations where the Theosophical Society held a guest house in a very serene atmosphere in the hill station Kotagiri in the Blue Mountains of India. Master Ike responded to the invitation and lived with Mr. Albert Sassi for a month in Nilgiris. They exchanged their experiences relating to the teachings of H.P. Blavatsky and Alice Bailey, and also exchanged their understanding of the hierarchical work. Albert Sassi was familiar with the works of masters from the hierarchy of Himalayas. He was eager to know information relating to Master of the Nilgiri Hills, who is considered to be Master Jupiter and the Master of the Masters. Master Ike then revealed to Master Sessi the work of Master CVV. He also read out pieces of teachings that he received from Master CVV. Mr. Sessi was thrilled and sought to invoke Master CVV along with Master Ike. In the prayers, Mr. Sessi was deeply touched and felt that his urge to feel the master of the Nilagiri hills, was fulfilled. He sought more information relating to the teachings of Master CVV from Master EK. Master EK showed the lessons on astrology and psychology that he received from Master CVV. Mr. Sisi was absorbed into the profundity of the teaching. As a consequence, he suggested and even insisted that these lessons must be put into an order and given out as a book for the benefit of truth seekers who are spread all over the globe. Master Ike agreed and prepared the text. Mr. Sesi arranged for its printing. The first print came out from the press of Nilgiris, and the book was Spiritual Astrology. In due course, the book on spiritual psychology was also published. The two became good friends in life and in spirit. Subsequently, when Masarike moved to Visakhapattnam, Mr. Sasi visited him there and repeatedly invited him to come to the West and to teach the groups the sublime wisdom of the East. For in Masarike, he found a great teacher. This is the prelude for Masarike to travel to the West. On this sacred mission of spiritual fusion of East and West, for the first time, he traveled to Belgium on 22nd April 1972 in the beginning of the month of Taurus, the fixed cross. Through Brussels, in Belgium, he arrived at a place called Spontin on the 25th of April 1972. Masarike traveled to Belgium along with his associate by name P.S.S. Verma. Mr. Verma, identified with the work of Masarike, resigned from his job and proposed to work for the Master. The first visit to Europe was conducted with Sri Verma as Masarike's companion. Thereafter, the Master conducted 4 tours along with Sri Verma during the period 1972-1977. During the Master's visit to Europe, he was chiefly contacted by the followers of Mr. Sesi and by some Theosophical Society branches. He gave lectures extensively in Belgium, in the south of France, and in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. During the first phase of his tour, the French-speaking groups in Belgium and France and Switzerland were contacting and listening to him. They were mostly public lectures organized by a group of occultists, which included sometimes groups of Theosophists. The Master utilized the tours also to make visits to such places as Lucy's Trust in London, the mountains of Alps, the mystical city of Paris, etc. He also once made a flying visit to New York at the invitation of an Indian friend. The work was initiated in the West, but was not found to be adequate from the Master's standpoint. He therefore gave a gap to these tours between 1977 and 1981.